Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. To those who are returning again, siyabonga, siyakwemukela, siyanemukela. Yeah, welcome back kids. So, if you have seen the 5 Minutes with series, thank you so much. If you haven't seen it, I'm gonna link it so you can also catch up. But today's video is all about a hot topic. A topic that is a part of every single circle. A topic that never gets old. A topic that we speak so much on, but most of us are struggling with, which is crazy because the ultimate thing about the human journey is about this particular topic. So today I will be talking about how to cultivate healthier relationships and how to win at relationships.
And if you're watching this and thinking, oh my gosh, it's a conversation about umjolo, you are so wrong. We are going to tap into all sorts of relationships. Relationships with your co-workers, relationships with your family, relationships with your friends, relationships even with your cab driver, because hey, it requires some level of trust and love and concern for them to let you pay at the end of the month, I think. But anyway,
I'll just be unpacking 5 of my most basic, no, let me not downplay it, 5 of my best tips that I have learned from personal lessons on how to cultivate and grow really great relationships. So I'm gonna pull out my holy grail of relationships and we're gonna get right into it. Tip number 1. In order to have healthy relationships with others, I think we need to invest in healthy relationships with ourselves. And this is something that isn't new. I'm sure you've heard it so many times. You cannot give to others what you do not have in yourself. What happens when you don't have a really great relationship with yourself is that you try to fill that emptiness, that lack. You try to get what you can only get from yourself through others, and that leads to having high expectations from our relationships. And we all know the equation of high expectations. It leads to a whole lot of disappointment, and now you're sitting there wondering, why do my relationships always end like this? And it could be like your romantic relationships, it could be your friendships, it could be you in the business world. You constantly trying to find from others what can only be found in yourself. I believe that in order for us to win at relationships and do relationships authentically and well, we need to firstly have a really good one with ourselves, and that will mean investing in yourself. That will mean taking time out to actually discover yourself, know who you are. It's crazy how so many of us don't actually know who we are. We know the substandard version of ourselves that we've picked up along the way, and a version of ourselves that other people have projected onto us because we have walked into relationships with insecurities. We've walked into relationships with voids that needed filling, and someone else tried to narrate our story for us and we believed them. You need to sit down with yourself, do an introspection. Who am I? What kind of person am I? Where am I going? What am I trying to do with my life? Do I understand my purpose? Do I understand the things I like? What standards do I have? What boundaries do I lack, or what boundaries do I have? What is stopping me from having relationships? Do I proper relationships? Do I have a particular outlook on life? Do I have particular insecurities? Once you start to develop a great sense of self-awareness, there is nothing anyone in any other relationship can tell you that can make you think twice about what you know. So I totally encourage you to go on self-dates, as weird as people say they are, to have some me time, to have a proper self-care routine. Do one act of self-care every single day, whether that is your skin routine, whether that is a workout, whether that is reading your favorite book, whether that is cooking yourself a wholesome meal. Just invest in yourself, love yourself, thoroughly and deeply enough so that you can be able to give of that type of love to other people when it's time to be in that season of relationships. So that is tip number 1. Tip number 2, unpack your baggage. Do you know how heavy it is to walk from one relationship to the next with a suitcase full of hurts that you picked up from situation A and situation B and situation C, and now you're walking into situation D and you are recognizing red flags because you are so triggered, and you are triggered because you haven't really unpacked everything that happened in all the prior relationships, so that now you can't fully be present in this one. Let's unpack our baggage. We have this culture of moving from one relationship to the next, and I mean this from a romantic perspective. Now, we never actually take breaks between breakups. Okay, we break up with so and so, and we are deep within another relationship within a month or so, and we haven't fully healed from whatever broke in that relationship or whatever broke in us through that relationship breaking. And personally, for me, the best decision I ever made was actually actively taking a break from relationships. And I think I needed this break because I was repeating relationship cycles, and that's what happens with baggage. You just keep doing the same thing, and it keeps being a heightened response to things that trigger you. I think it's so important for us to unpack stuff that happened to us so we can walk into new relationships with a lighter load. Imagine from A to B to C, unpack it so you can heal through it. And tip number 3 is my absolute favorite one, because when I learned about this, I was mind blown. I was like, wow, this would explain how I can do things a certain way in a relationship and someone else will do things in another way, and it'll feel like the other person isn't trying, and they'll feel like I'm not trying, but we are all trying our level best, and that is love languages. Guys, please familiarize yourself with love languages. There are 5 love languages off the top of my head because I didn't write this down. There is physical touch, there is quality time, there is acts of service, there is gifts, and then there is words of affirmation. I am a girl who is a sucker for quality time and words of affirmation. I do not in any way relate to physical touch. As much as my family is very lovey-dovey, I have been through trauma where if you try to show me you love me by physically touching me, I'm more guarded. And that is another topic for another day. But my family's love language is physical touch and words of affirmation. My mom is constantly trying to hug us or hold us or high five us or something. And we give kisses a lot. My niece is always kissing me. My niece will get on your lap and hug you and then just randomly kiss you and start playing with your hair. My family is very physical touch, and my physical touch love language is still on the side where I'm trying to unpack some trauma. And here's how love languages work, guys. You don't speak your love language to those around you. You teach them your love language, yes, so that they can speak it to you, but you gotta learn to speak the love languages of others. And the reason why we end up so frustrated in relationships is because we are trying to impose our love language on other people. And that is the craziest part. And when I learned about this, I was like, I've been speaking love languages so wrong, because I'm constantly trying to affirm people, and when it wasn't reciprocated, it felt very hurtful to me. If I type a long ass message and you type okay, I'm gonna be very hurt. Okay, so practice love languages, familiarize yourself with love languages, not just umjolo wenu, in like your friendships. Know your friends' love languages so that you can communicate them. Know your family's love language so you can also communicate better. And I'm telling you, you will win at healthier relationships with them this way. Tip number 4, become an effective communicator. Oh my God, you would be so shocked to know how so many of us actually suck at communication. If we could just master how to communicate how we feel, how to address issues, how to address conflict in a positive manner, we would be able to do relationships better in our workspaces. We would be able to do relationships better in our churches. We'd be able to do relationships better in our families. So many relationships are dying because of fear of communication or lack of communication. You don't like something, speak up. And here's the thing, some people speak up, but they don't know how to communicate with kindness. Guys, you gotta be able to argue in kindness as well. You're not just supposed to, speak to your loved ones in kindness when things are good. You're supposed to speak to them in kindness even when things are sour. I have had some relationships where communication was oh my gosh, and you'd voice out how you feel about a certain thing and you would be made to feel guilty about it. Effective communication is the make or break of all relationships. If we can learn to just voice out how we feel and voice it out in love and kindness, and learn to argue in a healthy way and learn to address conflicts in a healthy way, our relationships would absolutely flourish. So that is tip number 4. And the last tip, I picked up this tip while doing some counseling. I was doing counseling with my other mother from church. My sister and I were doing counseling with Jenny from church, and she really helped our relationship with ourselves. She really helped us find a really good relationship with our family. She helped us work through forgiveness. She helped us work through just being model women. And the woman you see right now creating all this content was largely influenced by counseling with Jenny, and I will forever be grateful for that. So she said you need to qualify your relationships, and by qualifying your relationships, you gotta go to the Word of God. And if you're the type of person who's like,
the Bible is a scam, the church is a lie,
please just stop watching walkouts. I don't have time for that type of energy on this channel. But if you understand faith, and if you understand God, and you understand the Word of God, then you are totally gonna be so mind blown by this. She said, do a checklist of all your relationships using 1 Corinthians 13. She said qualify all your relationships, your friendships, your dating life, everything qualified against Corinthians 13 to see if it is working, if it is healthy, or if you need to start having serious conversations about whether it is toxic or not. And I'm just gonna read Corinthians 13. 1 Corinthians 13 for y'all, so y'all grasp this really life-changing concept. It says, love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. Love does not demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up. Love never loses faith. Love is always hopeful and endures every circumstance. When I found out that I could qualify my relationships and, check them against this little snippet of chapter 13, the game changed. I stopped settling. It changed the entire game for me. So I totally encourage anyone and everyone to absolutely use 1 Corinthians 13 as a relationship checklist. And when you start also checking yourself and how you do relationships against Corinthians 13, that will also change things up for you as well, because we cannot always want to be on the receiving end of love. We need to give love, so we need to also check ourselves. If are we kind, are we patient, are we boastful or proud, are we keeping record of wrong, are we rejoicing in injustice, that are we keeping the faith, are we enduring through all circumstances. We also need to check ourselves against Corinthians 13. And I tell you, if we can start implementing this tip in our lives, our relationships will absolutely be positively impacted. So those were my 5 dope, amazing, incredible tips of how we can win at relationships at an unprecedented rate. And if you love this video, do that thing where you like and comment. Remember to share, remember to subscribe, and I will be back again with more life enriching content. Remember to tell your friends, to tell their friends, to tell their friends that Girls Talk with Them is the girl. Girls Talk with Them is the girl. Thank you so much for watching.